Hi there. I bought one of these electric hoists from Harbor Freight for around $300. I was dead set on mounting it to an I-beam with a trolley system in our pole barn. I know it's not ideal, but I have no concerns with the setup I've got designed here. It's an 8-inch I-beam that I got up there. It's a roughly 15-foot span. It weighs right at around 300 pounds or so. I used come-alongs and ratchet straps to shimmy it up there by myself. But the I-beam itself, I came in the sides to keep it from shifting, and I'm going to come over with some sort of metal clamp or bracket down low just to be extra safe. And there's two 2x10s on each end, and then there's 4x4 posts directly beneath the I-beam, sending any load down into the wall as well, which is a 2x6 wall. It's pretty stout. You can see kind of what I did with the hoist here. I failed miserably on a single trolley that I picked up. I had to take it back because I didn't put much thought into it. I had this thing turned perpendicular, which would not have worked under a load. It would have failed for sure. But this 2-trolley system works great. I've lifted myself several times. I'm going to do a true weight test with a IBC tote loaded with water that pushes this thing to 3/4 capacity or so. I picked these carabiners up off Amazon for 10 bucks. They're rated at 2,200 pounds. The chain's 3/8, rated at like 5 and some change, 5,000 and change. And then this was what I really ended up with. The end product was this pipe, a real thick-walled, heavy, it may even be oil fold pipe, but it's thick. It's just under the thickness of the chain, so no concerns. It's really smooth. It's really clean looking. One guy on YouTube he was my inspiration. He had replaced this factory hardware with some L brackets that curved up towards themselves, and then spaced them out with the washers of the trolley. I kind of like this. I'd put some thought into that, and I thought about doing it, but I like this better. There's a fail-safe there with the chain running through these brackets. You know, even if the pipe ever, not saying it would, it wouldn't happen, but just peace of mind knowing that the chain's there underneath these brackets, even if the pipe ever failed for some reason. It seems to me the weakest point on this whole thing would be the manufacturer's brackets. But in the instructions, the manufacturer's instructions, it's made for a fixed location by looking at it. Fixed location, almost similar to this without the chain, going through a bar rated accordingly at 2,000 pounds or so. So this is as close to the manufacturer's instructions, mounting instructions, as I could figure going on an I-beam trolley system like this. I also I'm gonna take another YouTuber's advice, and I bought some of this this cord to extend the length of the remote. And Lowe's carried it. He said Lowe's would be overpriced and it wouldn't carry. You'd have to special order, but lo and behold, my Lowe's had it. And I'm gonna up the. I bought a 2-gauge thicker wire, and I'm gonna extend it by about 8 feet or so on the remote. And then this is just basically power cord. I bought an extension cord rated, again, 2-gauge thicker. I'm gonna extend both those, and then and the only other thing I got that I need to put some thought into is how to keep the power cord to trail along this thing. Either some miniature trolleys to retain the power cord as I go along, or some sort of track system on this 2x6 that runs parallel. But that's the only thing I haven't really figured out yet, is how to keep the power cord from just dangling freely, a spring system or something. But the bulk of it's already thought out, and I'm liking it so far. I've lifted myself a few times and plan on doing that true weight test here before long with that IBC tote loaded with water.